Thank you, everybody, for attending today. Once again, reminding you that we'll be discussing Discord, right-wing extremism, and right-wing extremism within Discord. Today with us, we have Mr. Miro Dietrich, who is an extremism researcher within CIMAS, if I recall correctly, this Center for
Monitoring, Analysis, and Strategy.
Yes. Monitoring, Analysis, and Strategy, European research organization. And Miro, we will start with your part. Please go ahead.
Perfect. Let's share my screen. Yeah, so I'll be talking today about Discord and the use of Discord by the far right. And I think a lot of people are not that aware of Discord. So I will start with a short explainer of what Discord is. Discord was designed as a platform for gamers. You can visit Discord in your browser, but it's also a desktop application. And it's mainly used to organize communities, which means that everyone can create their own Discord server. And we have a lot of Discord server, of course, in the gaming space around different games, but also we're just a friend group who wants a digital space to hang out together. Discord is something that you can use for this. To give you a bit of an overview of how big the platform is, they have 300 million registered users, and at least half of them are monthly active users. So it's not just a pretty small thing, it's actually a pretty huge platform and with a lot of interesting content there. A lot of you maybe have never seen Discord, so I brought an example to sort of explain it a bit. And this is a Discord server by a group, and they do propaganda video for Atomwaffen Division, the far-right terror group, and they recreate scenes there in the video game and try to use this as propaganda material for a terrorist group. On the left side, you can see there are different channels. And if you use Slack at work, it's comparable to that. Different channels with different topics. And there you can post everything, text, videos, and whatever you want to share with the group. And there are also voice channels. And in gaming, these are often used for people who want to play a game together, that they have a voice chat while they game. But in far-right spaces, of course, it's also just a good hangout space where people talk about certain issues or planning stages. On the right side, you see the members of this Discord server. And if you hover over them, you get more information. And you also see what sort of role they have in the Discord server, which is also quite interesting. I will get back to that a bit later. So the question, why does the far right use Discord? So first of all, Discord is really popular with young people. For the far right, it's quite interesting to recruit young people, but also a lot of these digital far right phenomena are, a lot of young people are in these groups. So this just means that the places they are used to organizing communities from their private life with games, they of course also use these methods to organize with the political groups. The other thing is that Discord, it's very easy to structure something very hierarchical. This means that you can have different roles, and people with different roles have different access to the server. So you can have a public space where everybody can see what's written, but you can also use this public space as a vetting procedure, which means that if you find someone that you trust more, you can give them a higher role. And they get access to more private conversation where more the background planning happens. One of the main reasons how Discord is used for the far right is as a hub for socializing and community building. If you have a political movement, it's really important to have active members of this movement. And for them to be active, it's really important that they are not loose individuals, that you have a space, a digital home for these people where they come together, where they build a group. They can talk about the day, they can share memes, they can share what's happening and build sort of a cohesive group that's way more effective in dealing political damage. The other thing that we see how Discord is used is they gamify harassment. This means it's really good to have an internal place where you can talk about which targets you want to harass, how you want to harass them. You can collect memes before you start the harassment. when you start harassing someone, you can share links of your harassment. Other members of the group can upvote or like this harassment, and you can sort of congratulate each other on the harassment that you're doing. And you can even give out awards or special roles for who's the best harasser. If you want a bit more about how the far right uses Discord, I would recommend you this report by the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, The Extreme Right on Discord, which goes a lot deeper in a lot of these issues. Going next to a bit for the more abstract reasons why Discord is used, I wanted to give an overview over the last years how Discord was actually used by these far-right groups. In Germany, we had a really big case of called Reconquista Germanica. This was a Discord server where a so-called troll army organized themselves before the federal election 2017 in Germany. On this space, they found a lot of disgruntled youths who came together and started harassing politicians. The server was organized really hierarchical, sort of like military structures. So there were generals, and they were given orders at 7 at a certain time. Everyone harassed this person or this politician, everyone they didn't like, to sort of influence the election for the far-right party in Germany. With this method, they harassed a lot of people. Some stopped using Twitter, but also organizing a lot of people to tweet at the same moment led them to create trending hashtags for certain times. Here we can see a Guardian article talking about how successful this campaign was. But at the time in 2017, Discord wasn't only used in Germany by the far right, also in the United States. Before the infamous Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville in 2017, they had a Discord server where they organized and planned the event. And after the event, the Discord server was leaked because activists were infiltrating the server. And we could see that before the event, they already talked about ramming demonstrators. They were showing memes and they joked about that this could be a good method. And sadly, the consequence of this was that at the Unite the Right rally, a far-right extremist drove his car into a crowd of people and killed one of the counter demonstrators. So I think that's a clear example of where we see that this talk in the digital space doesn't stay in this digital space. We see the consequences in the offline world. Other groups who use Discord to organize is, for example, the Proud Boys, who now play a quite central role in the January 6th hearing. They've been described as a terrorist organization by Canada and also recently by Australia. It's more of an organized group, but also the Boogaloo movement used Discord quite extensively to organize themselves. They are also connected with several murders in the United States. But it's not just this group who use Discord to organize. We also see a more classical terrorist organization like Atomwaffen Division, for example, using Discord to organize. I, for example, could find a Discord server of the German wing of Atomwaffen Division where they talked about what they are planning to do. And in a more recent case, I was looking into a German group, Totenwaffen, where a European group where a German member got arrested in June. He was arrested for planning a terrorist offense, and they also had a Discord server, which was quite interesting for my investigation because I could find the German guy that was arrested. He was using a different alias on the platform than he was using on Telegram, and this sort of led to a lot of other interesting developments with using his new username that I had. But not only these groups use Discord to organize themselves, we also seen Discord play a central role in several far-right shootings that we've seen in the past. Recently, it was the Buffalo shooting and the Highland Park shooting, where we could see Discord servers being used. And with the Buffalo shooting, Discord was a really important part for him. He had a Discord server and he used the Discord server mainly to share his live stream and his manifesto before the attack, which meant that he invited a lot of people before he started his attack to his Discord server. And this is the way how a lot of people got the attention of the live streaming of his terrorist attack. because whenever there's a live streaming of a terrorist attack, for the terrorists, it's not that important that people watch the stream live. It's really important that there are capable people watching the stream live who can also make a recording and then are willing to republish that. So this was an easy way for him to spread his ideology and also find people who could do this function for him. It was also interesting how he used Discord. He set up his Discord server several months before he started his attack, and he kept a journal of his daily thoughts about his daily plannings and ideas running up to the attack. So there were several hundreds of pages that you can read on the mindset, what drove him to this attack, which was really interesting to see. The other case, the recent Highland Park shooting, it was a more complicated case. A lot of people saw some signs and clearly said, okay, this is a far-right terrorist attack. I think it's a bit more complicated because the shooter, his online, the way he posted online is more sort of pretty niche subculture. They call it shitsu posting. They post a lot of disturbing, different ideology. The content they produce is meant to entice you into sort of a riddle, but it's really hard to interpret what the motivation of these people is because it's quite hidden and quite complicated. He also was a musician, and for this he used Discord for his community, and identifying his Discord server led to several posts where he clearly identified as a far-right person. So it was really a good puzzle piece to figure out what drove this shooter in this case. I will give now a short introduction in how you can work with a usual Osint case would work with Discord, but Ivan will give a better demonstration later, so it will be just a short overview. So first of all, Discord is really interesting if you're doing Osint work, because these spaces are seen by the people who post there as private, which means that you can get a lot of information from these places that these people wouldn't really otherwise. So if you're stuck in a person of interest case, Discord can definitely be a place to find new information that you can't find anywhere else. The way that this works, what usually is that you find an invite link. There's a lot of them are Telegram, a lot of them are on image boards, but also on the classical social media platforms like YouTube and Instagram. Because a lot of the bigger creators, even the far-right space, want to have spaces where the community can organize, and so they often attach their Discord links for their communities on their YouTube videos or on Instagram. If you join the Discord server, you can look for a person of interest, someone who posts threatening messages, someone who is quite concerning in their profile, and then you do just your usual work. And one thing that's really helpful with Discord is there's a lot of databases, because although these people think that they are in a more private space, quite often these intimate spaces are infiltrated by activists, and these data is often leaked. The best sort of leak database you can find for far-right Discords is at Unicorn Riot. You can just search for the spaces there, but you can just type something in the query, for example, a username that you find. That's the other thing. I alluded to it earlier before with the username, because if there's one thing that far-right activists love nearly as much as posting hateful messages on the internet, is reusing the username. So just the usual alias search that you do of social links often can lead to a lot of interesting information when you have an alias on Discord. But of course, it works also the other way around. So if you have an alias of a person, it always is a good idea to see if the person also has a Discord account to find out more information about these people. Other relevant topics that you find in Discord is on the one side, malware. A lot of malware communities organized on Discord, but the whole cryptosphere and the whole scam economy is pretty dependent on Discord servers. For some crypto Discords, it's recommended that it's required that you have an NFT, but a lot of these spaces are quite public because they're scams and they want to find new people to introduce to the scams. And if you ever join a crypto Discord server, you get flooded with invites to other Discord scam servers. So if malware or crypto and scam is something that you work with, I would recommend for you to look into Discord as a useful resource. That would already be a short introduction into far-right communities on Discord from my side.
Thank you very much, Miro. That was quite interesting. So now we will go into an overview of what we have recently developed for Discord. The previous webinar that we've had in this series was covering Steam. So now we'll just open the GUI. We will go through several possible examples, and also for those of you who are attending our webinar for the first time, we'll also cover in general how social links can be used for Osint, and then we'll go into Discord. So here as the input, we have a GitHub account with a username from which we get an email address. First, we will see if there's any kind of social media presence associated with it. And among those transforms, we'll see if there's a Discord profile in existence connected to the email. So far, we see LinkedIn, Gravatar, the fact of accounts existing within Discord, Facebook, and Instagram connected to the email, as well as Skype. And this individual is a principal engineer of Reddit Incorporated, located in Alaska, United States. So now we'll try for an alias match within Steam, which, as those of you who've attended the last webinar know, is also available within SL Pro. We get this account with the same profile picture and the name Jason Harvey, the same one we got in LinkedIn. Groups, inventory items, and links. So this can give us a certain overview of the activity of the account within Steam. We can see that one of the Steam groups is a subreddit for Alaska. There are also some additional ones, and there is a community StarCraft 2 gamers. So here's where we can try to look for a Discord server related to that specific game. We'll use a keyword entity with strict quote marks and the transform Discord search servers. So we see 12 of them so far. We'll choose this one with the Reddit picture. We'll just connect it logically to the StarCraft group entity. And further from the servers, we can get the channels within them, the details, and also some other additional information such as the server's owner, and of course the member list of the selected server. Those are not all of the features for Discord that we're planning to have. We'll be adding some other additional ones. The get members transform right now is in the test form, but it will be in the production version soon as well. Now, from the channels, we can get the messages within them. It's possible to identify, to create a Discord server entity using the URL to that server as well. And for the Discord members, we can also get some details about the profile. So this would be an attempt to see if the individual, based on the sequence from GitHub, Steam, and the interest within Reddit and StarCraft, would be present in the appropriate Discord server. For each of the messages, we can go into the properties. We can see the offer name and the content, so the text of the message. Then drag those further into the graph and work with them in other directions. Within the profile entities, we can see the picture, we can see the name, and we can see the Discord discriminator, which is also one of the identifiers within that platform. So now we'll go a reverse way, and we will start from the name of the person who is stated to be the owner of a Discord server. This one is called Look Ahead America. The keywords, as you can see, are Trump, America, conservative, gaming, patriot, politics. So quite diverse. It has approximately several thousand members right now, if I'm not mistaken. And those are the categories in which you can find it. The individual here with the name Matt Brainard and discriminator 5102 is the owner of that Discord server. So now from the person entity, we can further go into the digital footprint of this individual. So we'll try social media and we'll try corporate sources. We see an open corporates officer from which we can get the company. We see an account within Telegram, for which, with the help of the social links Telegram pack, it's sometimes possible to get some additional historical data, such as this group that the person is present in. We see a number of social links identity search engine entities. One of the easiest ways to work with individual digital identifiers. And this gives us an email address, a company name, a location, and a phone number, to which we can further attribute additional social media presence. We can see that the email is also connected to a Discord account, as it was in the previous case as well. And of course, those social media entities can be further deepened for other artifacts connected to them by the same logic as we did with the Steam account within the previous graph. So again, for those of you not familiar with our solution, one of the other categories of sources that we have is dark web. At this moment, it's limited to the Tor network without I2P, Freenet, ZeroNet, or other similar things. So here we've made searches from keywords, such as Discord servers, Team Discord, Discord, and so on. And there can be found quite a lot of features within the product pages, the properties of the user accounts, and the posts within forums. So those are all the entities that have something like a Discord link within them. Here we go through several forums and through several dark web URLs, and also a query from Discord seems to give us a lot of links to explicitly CSAM focused sources, such as the ones that you can see here. And that's also child grooming is also part of the whole context of why this source suddenly became relevant. Within the vendors, we can see one. So I'll just start sharing my whole screen now. That states in the description of the product to be present on Discord under this specific alias. We don't have the alias search at this moment, but that will be one of the things we'll be adding in the near future in kind of the second wave of our Discord development. Also an email address and Telegram. From the PGP open key, we take one email address. And from the one within the properties, we can see that it is connected to an account on Discord and also to an account on Skype with the same name as in the email address. So vendors, and in this case, online drug vendors, also use Discord as a platform to communicate with their clientele. We can see references to the platform from some of the forum users. We can see a vendor selling subscriptions and VPN accounts, which does seem to be kind of weird. So illicit premium accounts to various platforms here. that has also designated Discord with that specific alias as one of the means of communication for potential customers. But so far, as we don't have it now, we've tried with Telegram, and this is the Telegram we found by the alias, and those are the groups the individuals is present in. So among other things, there's Monero enthusiasts, one of the more confidential kind of cryptocurrencies, and other one within the cryptocurrency category. Another user here is also saying, I just joined, I want to have friends, anyone is free to join my Discord server, and here's the link. At this moment, we are facing certain limitations in the percentage of servers with which we can work within our solution. That's something that we're going to be enhancing as well. But this doesn't seem to be like a mass tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people within it server, and nevertheless we find it. There are other ones, such as this one here. We can see in the snippet, is anyone here on Trap City Discord server? And we found this from a keyword. And if an investigator in a real case would be interested in getting to know more about the individual who posted this within that Tor source, it would make sense to go into that server and run a search by an alias. Here we can see a request seemingly on the community the link to the server raid this French server. This is a Minecraft server. Here we can see new 0x00sec Discord server. Very different people within the Tor network. It's not necessarily 100% of the time cyber criminals. It can just be people that like their privacy. And here we get the server and some additional data about the server as well. So there's lots to be. Including extremist topics as well. So we'll delete every graphic except from the keyword here and recreate the picture from scratch, and then see if there would be any intersections within the members of communities all dedicated to one topic, which is in this case open source intelligence. We can see there's quite a bit of them. We can see Osint FR, we can see the UK defense community, and some other ones. I see there's a lot of questions. We'll be answering them briefly in a few minutes, of course. So yes, as the connections are formed automatically in case of an identical output produced as a result of a query on several entities, we can, by running this query on several Discord servers at once, see if an individual is present in several of them at once, and then potentially, depending on who it is that we're interested in, go into more detail on that said individual, using alias cross searches, filtering their comments, going through the contents, and pivoting into their mainstream social media accounts. So yes, that was all on my part with a brief demonstration of how this works. Again, I'd like to point out that while we added some features, as this is one of the platforms for which we've had a lot of requests, we're going to be adding some additional ones, such as searching based on an alias, and also getting the messages of a specific individual within a specific channel on the server. So now I think it's time for us to answer some of the questions that we have within the chat. Yes, so, oh, it seemed that I showed you the wrong screen, so we'll just go over those again. This one was for dark web. We can share those sample graphs with those that would be interested after the event. This one was on pivoting from the owner of a Discord server into their social media. And this one was on pivoting from social media into the Discord server. And this one on looking for members intersecting within several servers at once. Is a search in Telegram possible? Yes, it is. So the least we can do is get the account itself and using one of the extensions that we have, the Social Links Telegram pack, it's possible to get some historical data, including the phone number of the individual. So the next, this is based on account names. Do you find issues when users are using the same username, but different discriminator? Yes, I suppose we would be facing issues in that respect. So the username would be one of the main points here. Can Maltego explore Telegram conversations content, or would Telegago be better instead? So far, we're the only vendor. Well, if you're talking about private conversations, then I suppose no, or at least well, maybe somebody who would be using an on-premise solution and would already have records of those private conversations obtained in other ways. It could be visualized in the form of a graph and further enriched. But in what we have now, no. So if the user does basic OPSEC and uses a unique username, you are simply dead in the water and can't pivot anywhere else. Well, assuming that the user always does OPSEC, yes, but as Miro mentioned, I suppose an analogy could be is that vendors within dark web marketplaces frequently reuse their alias to maintain commercial reputation, to maintain their customer base, which is why the reasons why having even scraped historical data on marketplaces that aren't any longer alive, so dead either as a result of an exit scam or as a result of a law enforcement operation, or the latter being masked as the former, it's still valuable. And I suppose that it could be said about community leaders within Discord, specifically in the extremism content, that they would like to maintain their audience, and this would be a motivation for them to reuse their username. Is that right, Miro?
Yeah, definitely. So they have a name, often it's sort of laziness, but of course it's just a reputation thing that you have a name on one platform. And because often these networks are organized of people that don't know each other. So if you want to get into more the background and deeper platforms on another platform, your username is something that helps you sort of establish a trust.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it does seem so. And what do we use to feed the different Discord server IDs, channel names, members, etc.? We use one of the available APIs. The limitations that we face in our searches are based on the limitations of using that API, as can be said. So yes, I think we can also ask Miro some questions as the subject matter expert, not just in Osint, but in researching platforms like this, especially in the extremism context. So Miro, in regards also to one of the examples that we've shown with the Tor network users, how often, in your observation, in your experience, was there an intersection of people within extremist communities with online organized crime, or maybe even something that could be called cybercrime?
We definitely see it sometimes. The far-right is definitely interested in different money-making methods, and of course, illegal methods is something that are interested for them. Also, we often have that people who are in younger digital far-right communities are quite online people. So they're often quite capable of using different exploits and are aware of criminal ways to use the internet. So there's definitely sometimes an overlap there.
And what do you think would the need to search through what other additional platforms did you meet the most when investigating people within Discord communities? I suppose it was Steam at some point, and most likely also Reddit, and potentially also Telegram users. There does seem to be some intersection, well, because of the purpose of Telegram, what's perceived as the purpose of Telegram in that audience. What do you think about those sources, specifically Reddit, secondly Steam, as platforms for communication of extremist people?
So Reddit used to have a far bigger problem with far-right accounts, but a lot of the big far-right Reddits have been taken down. So we saw, for example, the Donald being taken down and moving to other platforms. So Reddit isn't one of the main platforms for the far-right now. But as it's usually the case that platforms that have low content moderation, as we see in Steam, for example, we see a lot of far-right extremists organizing themselves there. So we've seen we've seen Steam used by Atomwaffen Division, sometimes in combination with gaming content. So you can get a mod for games where you sort of have different skins or where you can recreate terrorist attacks. But of course, just as a community space where you organize. One thing that makes us quite clear is that after every public bigger far-right terrorist attack, we see loads of people on Steam changing their profile name to the name of the recent shooter and changing their profile picture accordingly. So there's a huge community there who's interested in far-right extremist terrorism. And on the other hand, of course, I mean, gaming is a really huge platform. But if we look at markers that drive people into extremist content, it's clearly young males who are dissatisfied with their world. And a dissatisfaction can often lead into escapism. One source of escapism can be gaming. So in the gaming community, young male gamers can often be quite interested in far extremist content. So platforms where there's few moderation and you can find these people often as far-right subculture.
I suppose there will also be a significant intersection in the people with far-right affinity with people with general hate speech affinity, be it, well, various kinds of it. So religious-based hate, gender-based hate, other ones.
Yeah, definitely. Far-right ideology encircles all these beliefs. And of course, these beliefs are not just theoretical, they also quite practically post this content.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, another curious thing is that Twitter was many times and still is to this day used as a platform for astroturfing, for influencing large groups of people, entire nations, entire regions within, well, including within a political context or on certain socio-political issues. The same could be said about Telegram, and it's interestingly enough, with the current ongoing conflict, Telegram is also one of the platforms exploited by both parties in the interests of influencing people. Do you think the same can be said about Discord? So one of the examples that we've had is far right, is an American right wing. I don't know if it would be justified to call him far right politician, and who's communicating with his fan base there. How often have you seen that?
I think with politicians, it's usually the problem that Telegram is sort of a younger people thing, and often politicians are sort of the older generation, so they need to have someone younger in the staff to explain this to them. But like I said with the early example in 2017, if you talk about astroturfing, about fake influence, if you have a digital home for a community where you can organize, where you can plan certain things, it's quite easy to influence public discourse. If everyone in the community tweets with 5 sock puppet accounts at the same time and using a certain hashtag, it's not that complicated to drive the discussion in this sort of way and make it appear as a huge vast of people actually believe these ideas and not just a small minority. So for these sort of things, Discord is really a useful platform.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, also just one of the things that I'd like to highlight is we've shown gathering data and somewhat structuring data without the actual analysis part, because this is a 60-minute event, of course, using an automated tool for data mining. An important thing in that would be whether any of the individuals within the server or within a specific channel would be notified of somebody looking at that. In case anybody wants to ask that, no, that is not the case. So the user is completely safe and hidden in that respect.
And I think one of the great things sort of an automated tool has, that when a far-right shooting is active and a Discord server is found, Discord nowadays is quite quick in shutting these channels down. So it depends on researchers archiving the material anyway. But of course, if you have a tool that's where it's quite easy that you can quickly scrape a lot of data, that's very helpful in these situations before it gets deleted and you can't have any analysis anymore.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's a question, can we add a feature like in the Telegram pack where we can see users that have left? At this point, we've just launched Discord as a source, but it does seem to make sense to do something like that, because especially with some of the Discord servers within the graph with the Tor network representation, many of them couldn't be accessed, and we couldn't scrape data from them due to the links already being invalid. So I suppose they were already shut down at that point. So historical data would of course be valuable, as Mira I think would agree, because the logic of actions that of the people using Telegram, for which we have that feature, does seem to be quite similar to that logic within Discord. Well, with Telegram, of course, being less hierarchical and less into the gaming and pop culture context. Didn't GitHub update their privacy policy to no longer leak emails? I might have missed that, but I don't know. I got this email several days ago, so it works right now. And does our tool ever hit Discord directly, or is it obfuscated through a third-party database? So all of the queries that the user does, first, the user is facing us, and then we're facing the platform. So that's the logic of how it works for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, other sources as well, if I understood your question correctly, of course. Yes, I think my colleague can now also launch a brief poll, as we only have 10 minutes left. Yes, the questions are, what did you think of the webinar? Whether it was useful, okay, or you haven't learned anything new. We certainly hope that it would be one of the first two. What type of organization do you work at? Law enforcement, PI, cyber, NGO, or other? Would you like to have a free test drive of a cell professional to see how it can help you in your work? And does your company have a dedicated budget for purchasing an Osint solution this year? So yeah, the commercial part. Everybody, please, we're highly encouraging you to answer those brief questions, and also feel free to ask me or Miro any kind of questions on today's subject. And thank you, Annie, as well. Yes, and please have a nice trip. What law enforcement agencies are using our software so far? Well, really quite a lot of different ones, Gidel. So if you would like to discuss this with us, then you can book a meeting at our website and we'll be very glad to talk to you. Yes, Charles, the meeting is recorded. The recording will be forwarded to the participants, of course. So Miro, we're just finishing the event now. Would there perhaps be something you would like to add from your side, maybe some of your observations, maybe some of your experience? Because the presentation really was quite interesting.
I think it's really good that Social Links is looking into gamer spaces. I think they are definitely a relevant source for my work. I think future platforms would be more of the alt tech platforms, more of the smaller platforms would also quite interestingly, but I think a lot of material is already quite useful.
Okay, so we'll just wait for a few more minutes to see if there are any additional questions, and we're kind of in the time frame. And if not, then we'll be finishing the event. Also, yes, the ball has been launched second time.